my channel. I am absolutely thrilled that you are here. Thank you to all the subscribers. You are a true blessing to my heart, even more than you can even imagine. If you're new to this channel, I am Linda E. Bingham, and I started a series here on YouTube called Confessions of a Tired House. And I just want to take you on the journey that I have embarked upon in this next year of decluttering our home, getting our home back to basics for us, and finding more happiness and peace as we walk through our house. So let's dive in to first of all, defining what minimalism really is. First of all, minimalism is simplicity. It's having enough, if you will, and not having too much. It is focusing on the essentials of life and not having any more possessions beyond your essentials. I mean, that to me, if we were to draw a line on the screen, and we would draw a line and we would have minimalism and minimalists here and hoarding and hoarders here, you've got your extremes on one end and you've got your extremes on the other, correct? So I think sometimes it all depends on the person, really, when it comes to minimalism. Because what would be considered minimalism for me may not for you. But I feel it's about becoming simpler in the way that we live, having fewer possessions, and being able to live an intentional life, like shifting our mind to being more intentional in our living and not more materialistic in the way that we live. It also embraced the idea of quality items in your life versus quantity. That is another way to look at minimalism. You find a great freedom in owning less when you are a minimalist. And again, that depends on what part of the scale that you want to fall on as well. It really is up to the person. It really is. And hoarding. Again, we've got extreme minimalism over here and extreme hoarding over here, right? Hoarding is having an excess. And sometimes it can be emotionally driven. Maybe there was a traumatic experience in your life that makes you feel like you have to hoard things and hoard items in order to never be without. If you've ever been through something so traumatic, then you may have a tendency to hoard things because you lost everything you owned. It could have been a natural disaster. It could have been, even in some cases, sometimes whenever we're starting out, we have nothing when we become adults most of the time. So maybe you feel like you just have to hoard things, and you have that obsession in hoarding things in order to not be without, right? I am not here to judge you, because we've all lived through things in our home, in our life, that manifest itself, right? So hoarding has so many emotional aspects to it, just like minimalism does sometimes. The fear of letting things go. Maybe it's a memento of someone that you've lost that you absolutely loved, but if you feel like if you let go of their possessions and their belongings, then you're letting go of them. That, to me, that is what extreme hoarding is all about. When you compare the two, again, on our timeline here of extreme hoarding and extreme minimalism and extreme hoarding, then you can see that the minimalist literally have very few possessions. They're probably able to clean their house in 5 minutes. I don't believe I will ever be a minimalist. I don't believe I will ever fall in that category. Just like I don't believe I will ever fall into the extreme hoarding category, because I'm able to let things go more freely than some. But here's the deal. Where do you fall on this line? Where do you fall? Do you tend to be more minimalist? Do you tend to be more hoarder? It doesn't matter where you fall on the line. What matters is that you recognize it. And what we're here talking about today is finding the balance, so that way you can live a happy, peaceful, stress-free life for yourself, right? This is kind of where it gets really tricky, okay? There is no one size fits all when it comes to finding the balance. Every situation, every circumstance, every life, every person, every body, basically, and lifestyle is different. So what works for me may not work for you, and what works for you may not work for me. For instance, I said in my past couple of episodes of Confessions of a Tired House, they will be linked below for you to rewatch them or watch them if you haven't. I had said we own 3 businesses, and we run those 3 businesses out of our home. Well, my home, again, will never be minimalist because I run businesses out of my home. The reason our house has gotten so cluttered is because the craft cottage has taken over my craft business and my thrift flip business, because we were waiting for the house next door to be ready for me to move in. Well, we have it semi-ready. And so I am moving all of that out of our house. Well, the last 3 years, stuff kept coming into our house that had no place to go. And, you know, again, it caused a lot of clutter. It had no purpose in our house, had no system in place to accommodate it. And that's the reason one of the reasons our house has gotten so cluttered. Not to mention the fact that chronic fatigue and everything just kind of, it compounded. Again, my situation and my circumstances is totally different than yours. So this is not a one size fits all. And this is where it gets tricky, because you are going to have to say, you know what? I need to be faithful and truthful to myself and to my family. I need to prioritize what's important to us, not anybody else in this world, correct? So I'm going to give y'all 4 ways to bring balance to your minimalist, hoarder, and bring that balance and that line to be balanced between the two, okay? And I want you to think to yourself, where do you fall on that line right now? Where is it on the scale that you fall? Do you tend to be this way? do you tend to be this way? It does not matter because it's where you are. But our goal today is to bring them in balance. Okay? First of all, you have to assess all of your belongings. And this is what I'm doing, is decluttering our home. Before I can move on, I have to declutter. I have to get the craft cottage stuff out, and then I have to go through our own personal belongings and get what we don't want to take to the future, our future selves, what we don't want in our home. You have to be tough on yourself and evaluate every single item as far as, do you want to keep it? Do you want to toss it? Do you want to sell it? Do you want to donate it? It does not matter. But you really have to ask yourself, what stays in your house has to bring you true joy. I mean, it really does. And then you just need to get rid of the unnecessary possessions that you have at that point. Number 2 is you have to prioritize this experience, okay? Because it is an experience. I'm using 10 years. I'm using a year to do the declutter of our home. I'm going to take a year. So I have to physically prioritize, mentally make a shift into material possessions and meaningful experiences. For instance, and what that really means is, for instance, we recently bought a casita travel trailer. And as my husband and I, Danny and I, are going into our retirement years, a few years down the line, we're wanting to travel more. Well, coming home to a cluttered home and coming home to the chaos that is in our home right now, it's not going to bring us joy. It's not going to bring me joy to walk into our home and it be cluttered the way it is now after we've just been out having an amazing time on a trip. So you have to look at your material possessions and what the true meaning of your life that you want for yourself, and you have to evaluate it at that point. Prioritize what's important to you at that point. Does that make sense? Invest the time, and here again, I'm investing the time and energy over the next year to be able to enjoy years to come. I mean, that really is what's going on right now. So you have to invest the time and the energy in this process to make it work. Okay. Number 3. Set realistic goals. Okay, I've said it before. I am decluttering my house. I'm taking 1 year to do this. Set realistic goals. I cannot sit here and tell you that, oh, I'm going to declutter my house in 30 days. It's not going to happen. I don't have the strength. I don't have the energy where I'm sitting right now with what's going on with me physically. I don't have that in me. But you know what I do have realistically? I can look at this big picture and go, okay, I can break this down into smaller pieces. I can take a year. I have divided everything up over 12 months. I can take a year to accomplish this goal. So you have to look at yourself. And again, it's all about being truthful to yourself and truthful to what is going to bring you the best benefits to bring the balance in your life. Gradually work towards each one of your goals. Again, I have 12 goals, 12 months in the year, right? So each month I'm tackling one thing. But the first thing I'm doing is I'm decluttering my home. I'm getting all the craft cottage stuff out of my home, taking it next door, and then I will be able to go, okay, now I can assess our home, right? So really that's essentially what I'm doing and where I'm at. The problem is if you were to say, I'm going to declutter my home in 30 days, you put so much pressure on yourself and you will get so overwhelmed in your mind that you will eventually not. So break it down. We started in the sunroom. You saw that in Confessions of a Tired House, episode 1. I started there, decluttering. I decluttered Confessions of a Tired House 2. I decluttered our drop zone, which is a daily, it's a daily thing. That it really is. Right now, I'm in my office, and you can see there are things around me that this will become my next get things out of here that belong to the craft cottage. Get things out of here that doesn't belong to our office part of our business. But I'm going to do that. I'm thinking I'm going to do that in a series of live YouTube videos, 15-minute increments. What do y'all think about that? Would y'all like 15-minute increments, real-time live events, or live sessions where I just come in here, talk to y'all while I'm cleaning up and trying to get and see how much you can do in 15-minute time slots? Would you like that? If you would like that, comment below and let me know. And I will put that in the cycle to start. But next is my office. I have to get my office done, number one, because it's tax season. And I need to get it done so I can concentrate on the paperwork. But anyway, comment below and let me know if you would like me to do those live. And I will do them in 15-minute time slots and just see how much you can get done in 15 minutes. Let me know. Let me know what you think about that. Okay, now on to number 4. Mindful, how do I word this? Once you start finding the balance between minimalist and hoarding, you really will change your mindset about mindful spending. You really will. So number 4 is mindful spending. Because once you go, okay, I lean more over here to the hoarding aspect of it. And so once you start balancing your scale, you're going to realize that you don't need to buy as much as you have been buying. It makes you more conscious and more aware of your spending habits, and which I think that is an amazing thing, because not only do I have the Confessions of a Tired House episodes going on right now, but in January, the beginning of January, Danny and I started No Buy, Low Buy, and that's going to be another episode because I haven't even told y'all about that until now, but we're becoming more mindful of how we're spending our money. The number one reason we're becoming more mindful of how we're spending our money is because we have some big, lofty travel goals. Well, we want to be able to enjoy our retirement years a few years down the line. And in order to do that, we have to be mindful of that today. So, mindful of your spending habits is number 4. Something else that I have coming up in some future episodes is, again, I'm a thrifter and a thrift flipper, and I do crafting. So a lot of what I am decluttering from my personal life is going to be sold, and I'm going to do some episodes on how much money I actually made selling our stuff in order to pay some debt down. And that's going to be in some future episodes. So again, it's a win-win. It really is a win-win when you wrap your brain on how to balance your scale between being extreme minimalist and extreme hoarding, and find the balance that works for yourself. It is an absolutely amazing thing. You become very mindful of how much money you spend. So I just want to encourage you today. It's not about being the extremes. It's not about one way or the other. And it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter where you are on the scale. What matters is where you can bring that balance for what works in your life. It's the balance for you. You don't have to be extreme to make gigantic leaps in this process, because it's your life and you are the expert in your life and the life that you want, and you want to design for you and your family, right? You're the expert in that, not me. So I just want to thank you for being here. I just want to say, if you have enjoyed this video, please thumbs up, subscribe. We've got lots of new things coming on, new videos coming up, some series I told y'all about a while ago. And I just want to encourage you to bring balance into your life.